Hello, welcome to Foppy's Creations. I'm Jan. I normally just try to make things from recycled fabrics and anything else I've got in my stash. If you see my craft room tour, you'll see the sort of things I've got here. Too many to mention. Today is going to be I know I say this and it's not always simple, but it's quite a simple make, something you could knock up quite quickly if you're trying to make something for someone who has everything, one of those sort of gifts, and something they may not even realise they needed. You'll see in the thumbnail what it looks like, and this is the one that is in the thumbnail. This one is I mean, it could be made in several different sizes really. I got the idea from a picture I saw, I think it was on Pinterest, and it was a much smaller version, but I had a sudden thought that this would be quite a nice thing to put on the table for maybe if you've made hot rolls and things, and this is insulated with a blanket inside the 2 layers, so you could put rolls, or it doesn't have to even be hot, but it's just something nice, pretty on the table. If you've got a buffet table, and you could pile all the bread in there, and it just looked pretty basically. And what I've also done with this one, I've put press studs in each corner. I'll show you in photos in a minute, and so you can see what I mean. There's press studs in each corner, so that you put the press studs together to make it into like a basket. But if you look at I don't know if you recognise that fabric, you may not, but it's from that the fabrics I got from that basket. So it's another project I've got out of the things, or the fabrics that were given to me. So on the table like that, it could be a huge placemat. If you've got a couple of hot dishes that you need to put on the table, you could just open it up and use it for that. And I've used orange on the inside, so it's fantastic for anything really. And also it folds over easily, so it's easy to store as well, so it's brilliant. So that's one version. I'm going to leave that folded, I think, out of the way for the minute. Now I'm going to do a smaller one, which is for, again, I mean, it could be used for anything, but it's smaller in that it can be put by your front door. So when you come in, it's somewhere to drop your keys, drop your change, or whatever you feel it would be a good use for. I mean, on the table, if you have it put it on the table, you could maybe put sweets in it or something. There's numerous uses for it, but this one I don't think. I suppose if you wanted to, you could put some press studs on this one as well, smaller press studs, and make it into a smaller box. And that way you could open it up, and like the other one, you can put it down as a pan rest, or basically just, yeah, much the same as the other one. So I personally think it's quite good if you've got the space to put it by the front door for keys and things. But it's such a nice small gift. I'm personally, with this one, not going to put press studs on this, but I do think, more I think about it, it's probably quite a good idea to do that. It gives you a few more options. This one is going to be stitched together on the corners, and what I've done, I've found more fabric from that same basket. That's one of the smaller pieces of that particular fabric. As you can see, I've already prepared it, and then I found a light blue denim, which I think tones in quite well with that. And then this is my blanket, and again, because I don't want to waste, I'm using some scraps of blanket, and what I'm going to do now is show you how I join the two together to make a whole piece. I did, when I measured it, I thought I've made that slightly smaller than the outer pieces, because I was forgetting to allow for the seam allowance, but it doesn't really matter because this is going to be inside, and I'll stitch on the edge of the blanket, then turn it inside out, and then it will be top stitched. So that's what I'll do now, and I'll turn the machine round and we'll join them together. So that it doesn't keep moving apart when I'm trying to stitch it, I'm just going to put some tape on the back to hold it together. This is just masking tape. Okay, so I need to line up the centre where the two parts are meeting with the centre of the foot, and I'm going to need to put in a largish zigzag. I've doing this in an orange thread so that you can see what I'm doing. So if you line it up with the centre of the foot, then you know that the stitch should go either side of it and hold it together. Okay. Take your time to make sure it goes over. Obviously it's simpler to use a whole piece and not have to do this, but I'm going to make that just slightly bigger. But so if you don't want to waste, like I don't want to, then this is a good thing to do. I'm going to change my thread back to white. Okay, so I've pinned that just to one side just so it doesn't keep moving. Now I think I'm going to put clips around the edge. I'm obviously only going to sew 3 sides. And then the 4th side we'll tuck in and then include that when we do the top stitch all around after. I'll start just about the seam allowance size, so about 1 centimetre in before we start the stitching. Alright, let's go change back to running stitch. That's it. So ideally the blanket would have been part of the whole sew, but I'm not going to waste that, so I'm doing it this way. Before we turn inside out, I'm going to cut the corners so that they're easy to turn it properly. This is actually a little bit easier, this fabric, to do than the other one was, because that was quite a stiff fabric. I'll have to grab my pokey tools in a minute. That's it. Sure the blanket's laying flat. That's it. Right, now we're going to turn this in. Actually, doing it the way I've done it, the blanket is quite a good guide. So just turn it over the blanket and turn the other side in as well, meet them together. It's always a bit fiddly. Use these, just a couple of these. Hold that together. What I'm going to do, I think I'm going to get the iron and press this flat so that I know it should be nice and thin, because it's obviously now we're on 3 thicknesses, so we don't want it to be breaking my needles. Try and do this as evenly as you can all the way around. What I tend to do, if I get to the corner, I'm trying to make it into a corner properly, then I just use the scissors to pull that across. That's it. While the iron's heating up, I just, as some of you know, I didn't manage to make a video last week because I'd had such a rough week of sleep, and I just really wasn't feeling very motivated. I'm sure you've all been there. But I've had such good sleep since that I'm back. But also, I just want it, I'm surprised I'm here today. Honestly, you're going to be watching me just see, what did Jan do now? I had to go out yesterday, and I was sort of rushing around a little bit because I had to get out quite early, and I managed to fall down the stairs, and I fell from about the 4th step from the bottom, straight flat on my face. I was totally baffled at how it happened, but it really hurt, and I have to say I did cry. And I bashed both my shins on the stairs as I went down, and I managed to fall slightly to the left and bash my side on the radiator at the bottom of the stairs. Duncan come running out in a panic, as he would, and was offering to take me where I had to go, but I said no, get to work. And I must admit, when I was driving off, my shins were a little bit painful, but nothing's broken. I half expected not to get any sleep last night because I thought I'm just going to ache from head to toe, but I slept really well and fine. All I've got is a tiny graze on my shin and a light bruising on one leg, and I feel a bit sore here, but there's nothing to see, so it's all under the skin. I suppose I could have rubbed some arnica or something in it, but that's me, I didn't do that. Right, so let's get back to the ironing. I say ironing, I should just say pressing, because what I'm doing is pressing it down. So I need to make this as thin as I can to go through the machine. Just for a second, I'm just going to take the clips off so I can press that down. Probably don't need to put the clips back on, but I'm just being cautious. another tool, I don't know if I told you, but I've also got this hammer. So when you're on, it's a very soft rubber hammer. I think it's probably used for doing floor tiling and things. But I've got that, and it's got a bit of weight to it. So if I've got a corner that needs flattening, I just do that. Obviously got to take your time because we don't want another broken needle. And I need my encouraging tool to get that through. It's struggling, so it's going to take a little while, I think. I think what I'm going to have to do is raise the foot and move it along my hand for the first few stitches carefully. Again, just by turn this it by hand just to get it around the corner. So. I'm sewing about 1/2 centimetre from the outside, so that I know that then I'm catching the 1 centimetre seam allowance. There we go. Right. Oh no, not quite enough. A bit more. Okay, that's that. Now it's already looking like a pot stand now, isn't it? Or even a mitt, same as I made before. And I suppose you could still quilt that if you wanted to, but now I've got to turn the corners in like this and put a stitch in each corner. So then it comes up as like the other one, like a basket. So it'll be like that on all corners, and then it will sit nice and square. So then you have to just decide then how deep you want the basket to be, because you could go in really deep like that and bring them in, but then, well, I suppose, yeah, it just depends on what you're putting in it and whether it needs to be secure, I suppose. But that, that coming up like that, if I did that all the way around, I think that would probably be okay, wouldn't it, for a key holder? So if I make it, let's just measure my erasable pen all the way around, and then I know I've done it the same all the way around. So that up there. I've just got to decide if that's going to be deep enough. Let me have a look. No, I'm going to do 4. So let's get rid of those pen marks. 4 centimetres all round, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 26. Okay. So I'm talking to myself. Don't worry. I don't just talk to gnomes, I do talk to myself. Okay, so fold that up. I Actually, I think if you quite just quickly press with the iron, then I know where my crease is going to be. It's still quite warm from doing that. Same that side. Right, now I need a needle and thread. Right, obviously, so it doesn't keep springing out, I'm going to have to put a pin in. See, the distance you come in from the corner is obviously going to determine how deep the basket is. So obviously you need to measure, make sure you're going to stitch the weight where you want. So I need 4 again, so I've got to stitch. I've got to stitch there all the way around. And I'll start from the inside so that my thread is hidden. That's it. And I'm just going to do a couple of neat stitches on the inside fabric. I need quite a few to make it secure, really. Of course, the beauty of this is it can just go in the washing machine.
Right, finish the stitch.
There we go. I'm going to just thread my needle back through there so I don't have the end. Snip that very close to the fabric, and then it will just lose itself in there. So that's one done. I'll put a screenshot actually of that on the screen so you can see it up close. I'm going to do the other 4 and then I'll show you when we're finished. And there we go. As I say, you can put anything in there. You can just throw your keys in there, anything you want to know where to find it. So there you go, both sides. As I say, it's quite a simple little thing, quite pretty little thing, depending on the fabric you use. You can use a masculine fabric, you want to make it for a man. But I think that's quite a nice little gift. It's fine. Next time I'm hoping to be doing some fun with paints, with acrylic paints. Sharon found an idea that she'd seen and it looks pretty messy. So depending on what happens between now and next week, really, whether we do that, whether it be the week after. I'm hoping it'll be next time, so it'll be an acrylic paint project basically, and I'm hoping it'll look. I think it's probably not going to come out how the sort of art I like, but I think it's going to be good fun. Yes, all I can say is it involves acrylic paint and bubble wrap and a canvas. So I will see you next week. Bye.